Morning, everybody. I'm really excited to talk to you about the Ice House Amphitheater today. We're in our 5th year, and it is time to look back and reflect on the impact that the amphitheater has had, and that's going to be what I'm going to focus on today. So I want to start a little bit with the history of the site. A lot of people will remember the Palmetto Propane, but it actually goes much further back than that. Originally, it was a shoe store before the Civil War, and then later a cotton warehouse, and then it was the 1920s when it actually turned into the ice plant. So 1970, the Havard family put Palmetto Propane there. They continued to make ice, hence the name Ice House Amphitheater. And Mr. Havard had quite a vision. And he started over many years buying up property in and around that corner that is the site now. And the town was able to purchase the property from him, or much of the property. There was one other parcel. So in 2012, the town developed our vision plan. And if you will, that's our strategic plan for everything going on in the town, and kind of wrap everything up into one unified vision, and thus the vision plan. One of the things that it identified was placemaking downtown, so some sort of unique opportunity to allow people to gather downtown. About 2015, we started talking with Mr. Havard and his representatives, and were able to purchase the property that is the Ice House now, and this plan was developed. So this is the original sketch, the original thought of what the amphitheater would look like. We worked with Wayne Rogers over at Catalyst right downtown. A theme of this presentation is going to be partnerships, because everything we do, we try to do it in partnership with others. So we came up with this wonderful idea to add an amphitheater downtown. Really old concept. The original amphitheater, the oldest amphitheater we know about, was built at least 300 years before Christ. So this is a very old concept, but it works. So the original idea was we would acquire the property, we would save the building that now is Aladia's, and then everything else would be parceled out. These other two parcels would be parceled out for private sale after we built the amphitheater. Ultimately, this parcel had some issues, some geotech issues. It's on a huge slope, and we ended up building a pavilion there. And this parcel, it has now been sold, and we will have the groundbreaking, which I want to invite everybody to, which is March 23rd at 10 a.m. For the new private development that's going here. It'll be a restaurant on the first floor and professional offices on the second floor. So we love that mix, because restaurants' traffic peaks are in the evening, professional office traffic peaks are in the morning and afternoon, so it works really well downtown to have that mix. So this was the original concept. Well, why was this the concept? Because that focus of that vision plan, mayor and council's vision plan, was to create a revitalized downtown and provide improved quality of life downtown, all over, but with a focus on downtown initially. So again, this is the original sketch done by Catalyst, showing what the concept was. We took this information, we approached the county and the school district, again, partners, and we were able to create a TIF, which is a tax increment financing. Basically, it just doesn't increase anybody's taxes, it just allows that specific area to taxes to go towards a specific project. So that's what paid for the amphitheater. We started 2015, was the groundbreaking on the amphitheater, and then of course 2020 was the pavilion groundbreaking. This is the first of a number of numbers that or about 3 numbers I'm going to ask you to remember. $5 million. That's about the construction cost of both the facilities. So I want everybody to remember we've put $5 million into this facility. This is what it looks like now. 2016, the amphitheater opens. 2021, the pavilion opens. Right at the beginning of 2021, the pavilion opened. We've had a number of concerts there. So we've had names you've heard of, names you haven't, they all sell out. You will have on your desk, on your table, a little flyer, which I encourage everybody to take a look at. That's got the list of all of our upcoming events. So we're just about to kick off our spring concert series. So Walker Brewer, who works for the town, stand up, Walker, if you would. Walker's our event promoter, so he's the one that goes out and gets these acts and brings them in for us. So I do want to ask everybody, if you're interested in what's going on at the amphitheater, please go on Facebook, follow the Facebook page for the amphitheater, because as I've said, most of these concerts are selling out. If they're a ticketed event, they're selling out within 48 hours many times. So if you see something, don't wait. Go ahead and get your tickets or they won't be there. So now we're going to look at some of the numbers of what we've generated. Since opening of the amphitheater, we have had, well, it's going to take a second for it to load, I guess, 1.1 million visitors in 5 years to the amphitheater. 300,000 visitors in 2021. 300,000 visitors. It's the number 4 leisure destination within 50 miles. We are the number 4 leisure destination in the Midlands of South Carolina. The number 1, no surprise, is Riverbank Zoo. There are over 1 million visitors a year. Number 2 is Colonial Life Arena at over 400,000 visitors. Number 3, also probably no surprise, Gamecock Tailgating. So 389,000. Number 4, little old town of Lexington Amphitheater. So like I said, amphitheaters aren't anything new. It's an old concept. There are lots of amphitheaters in the state of South Carolina. Here's a list of the bigger ones, and here's how we line up. Here's our 291,000. Important to note, Simpsonville's CCNB Amphitheater seats 10,000 people. We seat 1,000 people. This is because of the work that Walker does in holding 99 shows just last year. It's not uncommon for a lot of these other amphitheaters to have 10 and 12 shows, maybe 1 a month, something along those lines, maybe skipping many months because of the weather, but we're able to utilize the amphitheater as much as possible, which results in this number of visitors. So the thought might be, what does that really have? I mean, that's a lot of people and that's great, but what does that really have to do with tourism and impact? Because if it's just local people coming, that's great. We've given them something to do. Well, it's not just local people. So now I'm going to show you some heat maps. Heat maps just kind of overlay over the top of a regular map where people are, in this case, where people's home location are. So where they're from compared to the amphitheater. So this first one is the Midlands, and it's a little bit hard to tell. So we're going to zoom out a little bit and let you see South Carolina and the Southeast. So obviously red means we've had a lot of visitors from that location, and blue is a little bit fewer. So we're getting a fair turnout from Atlanta, the upstate, the Charlotte region, low country. But let's look nationally. This is the U.S. People in Denver really seem to come out. Florida, the New York Metroplex areas, Ohio and Michigan. That's probably no surprise. A lot of y'all are probably from Ohio. But this is an absolutely tremendous turnout. This shows that we are having impact on tourism. Now, do I think that people are traveling to come to ice house shows? In some cases, in the regionally, yes, I think they probably are. Nationally, probably not, but we're giving them something to do when they're in town that brings them downtown, that gives them a focus on our downtown businesses. When they come visit their mother or they come visit their grandmother in town, they grew up here, they bring their family into town, we give them something to do. Let's move on. Here we go. Now this is where we're going to start on those numbers. We're able to identify that 10% of people, before they come to the amphitheater, eat at an in-town restaurant. This is just in town, so there are out-of-town restaurants we didn't consider. This is just in-town restaurant. 10% eat before, and 8% eat after. That's 18% of people have a meal in town, at a restaurant, not at home, before coming to the amphitheater. So who remembers what that the number of visitors in 2021 was? 291,000. 18% of 291,000 is over 50,000 people in 2021. So if we just assume a $25 tab, and I can tell you, having eaten at Matt O'Hara's restaurant, my tab is always more than $25. But if we assume a $25 tab, that's over $1 million. It's $1.25 million into the local economy in 1 year because of the amphitheater. Who remembers the total number of visitors? 1.1 million. 1.1 million. That's $5 million. It's $4.97 million in impact in 5 years at our local restaurants. $5 million. Who remembers how much it costs to build the amphitheater? It's a 5-year ROI. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I would like to point out, we've got a number of town council members. It's their vision that allowed for this to happen. And I think we should all give them a hand. All right, and like I said, I want to remind everybody that we have the groundbreaking on the 23rd at 10 a.m. for the new restaurant going in front of the Ice House. Also want to point out on the flyer that was handed out on the back side, where it's got the 8 spring concerts, we've partnered with Nephron, and they are our name sponsor for the entire concert series. So we want to give a big shout out to them and thank them for all they do to help us provide these free concerts for the citizens that drive this activity that I've been able to show to you today. I'm glad to answer any questions if anybody has them. Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about the Virginia Hilton Park and what's coming in the future.
Sure. So this is, the Ice House is just a single part of the vision plan. There have been many projects come out of the vision plan, and the next one on deck is the revamp of the Virginia Hilton Park. So we are doubling the size of Virginia Hilton Park, so all the property that is on Church Street to the creek will be included in the park, and the park will be completely revamped. One of the things that we're doing that ties in with the amphitheater is the large picnic shelter will be made into a smaller version of the amphitheater. And what's that going to allow us to do is it's going to be somewhere between 250 and 500 seats. The amphitheater currently has 1,000 seats. So that'll allow us to have festival weekends, music festival weekends, where we'll have stage at Lexington Square Park, where we can put a full stage. We'll have a stage at the amphitheater, obviously, and then the new site in Virginia Hilton will allow us 3 stages in downtown to create a huge amount of walking traffic in downtown to utilize the restaurants and those sorts of things while people are downtown. So, yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what the restaurant is that's moving in?
I cannot. Hopefully that will be announced in a few months. But I think everybody will like it, and it's we shoot for less chains downtown and more local mom and pop places, and it's probably going to line up with that. Yes, ma'am.
Talk to us about parking.
Parking is, I'm so glad you asked me this question. There are over 1,000 public parking spaces within walking distance of downtown. We get that question all the time. I have never been to any, even when we go to our 4th of July event, which has 3,000 and 4,000 people at one time downtown, there's still parking available. We do have to get used to walking a little bit. So kind of treat it like you're going to Walmart on Christmas Eve and you got to park way up at the top. You got to look at it a little more like that. The town is investing in parking. We've built a number of parking lots. We're building another parking lot that's going to be next to the Masons Lodge off of Butler Street. But I promise you, there is a parking place for you downtown. Don't ever let that be the reason that you don't come downtown. Yes, sir.
How about the hotel?
The hotel, so the hotel's going on the site of the old Shirey's. Sessions. Yeah, I always get those two switched. And they are moving forward with that. So we've been dealing with their civil engineers as they prepare their land disturbance permit, and I expect that will be permitted by summer, and we'll see construction start very, very soon on that. They were delayed because of the pandemic, but now they're back on track. All right. Thank you very much.